What year did they tear down the projects, and what's there now?
Uh, yeah, the last days of the project was probably 2010, and they be building with like some condominium looking, nice looking apartments. You know what I mean, with cameras around them. But like back then, and most of the people that was black and Samoan, they moved. They gave them vouchers in Palmdale, Long Beach, and everywhere outside of Wilmington. So now Wilmington is like 95% Hispanic now. You know, the homies are still out there. We still have like hood days every year, and you know the homies. They got another hood out there that we allies with called the Eastside Pain, Ghost Town Blood. They still around, and you know, but majority of that is we're the only two black gangs in Wilmington, Waterfront and Ghost Town. Wilmington is one of them cities like you can't hang outside 3-4 deep. You gonna get shot. You gonna die.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everybody like hang in the house. And then Wilmington's one of them cities, like when it get dark and you outside, you subject to be a victim quick. You know what I mean? Because I got shot growing up over there. You know what I mean? I got hit 11 times at once. You know what I'm saying? So Wilmington always been a city with violence and a lot of shooting going on and a lot of creeping and back doors.
Well, let's talk about your journey, and I say that respectfully. You know, behind bars. If you could put a number on it, you know, how much time from juvie hall to prison would you say you've given to the system?
Shit, 91 and 95. I stood out 6 months. 91, 95. I was in YA. And then stayed out 6 months. 95, I went to the Bay, called a robbery, and then went to San Quentin. So I did 6 on that. So 91 and 95 was gone. Stayed out 6 months. Got shot. Went to the Bay. About 6 years. And then got out. Went to I did probably about 20, 23, 24 years.
Wow.
Yeah, all together.
More than half your life from what it said.
Yeah, I didn't have no prom and football games. I didn't have none of that. That was a youth story for all that. I learned how to read and write in there.
Damn.
Yeah,
talk to me about Los Padrinos in the early 90s.
Oh yeah, so my first time when I went was the only time I went because that's when I went to Y. But when I first got there, I already knew about like Blood and Piru since that was like around our area. And then there used to be a few LA gangs used to come up to our project. So when I got to LP, you go to the receiving unit. Back then was A and B. You go there and then shower up. You know, they give you your little clothes and stuff. You get your little bed and you stay there for a day or two. And the cool thing about it back then, when I went to LP, me and the SA named Hefty from Westside Wilmington, he RIP right now. We went the same day in the same police car to LP. So he already been there a couple of times and been to camp. So I was asking him questions about LP. Like, he's just like, man, just stay down, fool. Any enemy you guys just get down and just stay down. You know what I mean? He said, fool, we're going to ride this together if we're on the same unit. I'm like, okay, it's good then. That's all I need to hear. So we get to AB, and then we spent the night there for receiving for a night. And we got in there about 1 in the morning. By the time we woke up, ate breakfast, they was sending us to L&M, me and him together. So when we got to L&M, we went to go pick up some kids from school. So we was in line movement. And when we got back from line movement, a dude from Longo hit him up, like, where you from, fool? He was like, Westside Wing Box. And he was like, Eastside Longos, Playboys. And then Hefty just took off on him. Boom, 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 boom. So they went to the box immediately. He wasn't even there 24 hours. So I'm like, okay, LP kind of turned up a little bit. So I started on L&M with I met a homie from Brown's and I met another homie. I forgot what, it was only like 2 Bloods. Back then the Bloods wasn't deep in jail. You had to be real hard to walk around like that and have your name back in them days. Like right now, we deep. There's hella Bloods. You find 30, 40 homies in one place. You know what I mean? Back then, it was like, if you was 2 or 3 deep, that was considered a good number. You know what I mean? So I sat on L&M for about a good 2 weeks, and I had so many robberies that I was still young, but I was tall. They sent me to EF in Orange. So now they got me in high power. And then That's where I had my first fight at. I got in with a dude named Stoney from Q102 East Coast. I was on the basketball court. There was a dude named Lil Devil from Rolling 60s. He's the first dude I ever seen. He had every gang crossed out on his arms. He was tatted up with an afro. And then it was homeboy Baby Rose. We was all on the same team. And he kind of passed the ball to the dude from East Coast and tried to test me, hit me with an elbow. And I said something to him, and he was like, "We'll check it out when we get back in the day room. Once we get in the little day room, we shower, they give us a little night day room a little bit." I look at him, I take off on him, and then he kind of beat me down. You know what I'm saying? Dude named Stoney, I'll never forget that one. Dude named Stoney, 2102, he got the best of me on that. I didn't even get really too many hits after that one. We went to the box, came back, and then I'm going back and forth to court, fighting these robberies, and then they finally came with a plea. Like, out 9 robberies, like, you plead guilty to one, we gonna drop the rest. You can't go to camp. You can't go to placement because you got every robbery you had a weapon. So you got to go to YA. Now, the whole time I'm in LP, everybody telling me I'm about to go to camp. Like, man, you about to go to Kill Patch. You ain't ever been to juvenile hall, like, none of that. Woo, woo, woo.
Oh, damn.
So I'm thinking, like, the whole time I'm thinking camp. Like, camp, nothing. I'll be home in 18 months. You know what I mean? And there's like 3, 4, 5 homies in camp right now to spread it out. So I'm hoping I'm landing where one of the homies is at. But I end up going to court. When you're in the LP in Long Beach court back then, you walk through the hallway, you can see your family in the hallway before you hit the other tank to go to the courtroom. And I seen my mom, and she was shaking her head. So the DA already told her, well, he better take this or he gonna get longer than that. So I ended up taking the plea, and they ended up giving me like 10 years youth authority. Yeah. But see, youth authority, you can get hella years, but only do 2, 3 years. But they got up to 25 years old to hold you. You know what I mean? So I took the little plea, came back to LP, and then told everybody they sent me to YA. They gave me 10 years. And everybody's like, "Damn, nigga, 10 years?" I'm like, "Yeah." So I stayed. I think that was on a Friday. So I went to LP. I went to YA that Monday. They rolled me up that Monday morning.
Okay, let's talk about YA. Where did you first land? Did you first land in Norwalk?
Yeah, gotta go to Norwalk first.
Okay, talk to us about the process.
Okay, so when you get to Norwalk, you pull up in the little vans from Juvenile Hall. I think we picked up somebody from Central, and we kept going. But there was other vans there. Then I seen a big old LA County jail bus. I'm tripping off that, like, what the hell the county jail doing here? But then at this time, I didn't know it was 12 to 25 years old, right? So when we get off the bus, there's they got like 1, 2, 3. They got like 3 big old empty rooms with like a bench in them that's going along the wall. And they tell everybody to go in each room. Once you go in this room, you probably take a jail picture. Then you go in the next room, you talking to a psych ward or something. I run into a little homie. He was probably back there. He was probably like 4'11", 5 foot. His name was Lil Boom. He stuck his head out the window. He was like, "Where you from?" He was little, man. He had to be he looked like he was about 10, but he was probably 13 back then. I'm from Waterfront Piru. He was like, Pasadena Squeaky Lane. They call me Boom. I think he rests in peace now from what I'm hearing, that Demetrius still. But he was a little young rider and a little shit starter. So I was kind of happy because everybody that's in my tank was clips or essays. You know what I mean? What really, I ain't hearing no blood. I'm trying to hear something. You know what I mean? So when you go through all the little tanks, you take your picture. You see the little dentist. You see all these little people. And then they give you your blue jeans. You get state issue blue jeans. You get like some fake Chuck Taylors. You get like a gray sweater and a white tee that says SRCC printed in the front. And then so as you walk, you go through the little control center. They tell you, get up and go to your unit. And you be like, somebody's going to be at the door. And I'm like, well, how do we get to where we going? Like, follow the line. So it's like 10 of us. And then finally you can see what the institution really looks like as you leave the control center, because you walk in, you're seeing the unit Gibbs to the right. You got Pico to the left. You got Cabrillo to the left of Pico. That's the turned up unit where all the kids is at. Then you got Portola. Back then, Drake was open. That was the unit that had weight. and then they had Southern. So if you was in the line movement, if you was 12 to 17, you was going to Pico your first few days. That's the orientation unit. And if you was 18 on up, you was going to Gibbs. So as you walk, as they open up the door, it's like some brick buildings. And when you open up the door, there's some hard ass doors to the right and hard ass doors to the left, going all the way down to a control booth. And then there's a control booth. And then on the other side, it's the same thing. Hella doors, right and left on each side. As you walk in, everybody's kicking on the door. Hard as hell. Boom, 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 boom. New booty, new. They banging on you. It's like a movie. They banging on you as you walking down the hallway. You got your box. You just trying to hold your face straight. You looking left and right. You trying, niggas is dissing. Fuck your hood. I don't even know where you from yet. Everybody talking shit as you walk to the damn thing. Then they set you in the day room with your box, and there was already like a couple of trustees out there. I met a dude named, what's my boy's name? Nutty C. He was from 10 Line Gangsters out of Watt. He was pushing a broom, and he had asked me where I was from. I was like, I'm from Waterfront Piru. He was like, oh, you just got a Simone homie who just got here, just left to the other unit named Twin. He got red tattoos. I was like, yeah, he is. He was like, yeah, he just left today. He's on Cabrillo. He said, how old is you? I'm like, I'm 14. He was like, you about to go to Cabrillo too. You go see him, and you go hear everybody over there at night. I was like, damn. I'm like, all right, for sure. So when I had my box, they tell you what cell to go in. You stand there, you walking down the hallway. People asking you where you from. I'm standing in front of the man, that hallway looks terrible. So when they opened my door, I'm in the cell, and luckily it was a blood. It was the homie Lil Rob from Denver Lane, rest in peace. He was right there. He had been there for like a day or two before me. And he was just like, he just got here. He waiting to go to Cabrillo. And that's where we go be catching our fades at. He said, everybody over there on Cabrillo going crazy. That's a crazy unit for the young kids. And I was just like, man. So when you get in there.
Crazy, what does he mean by that?
I mean, fights in the shower, fights in the city. I mean, it's nonstop. The bell's always ringing over there. You know what I mean? They always running in the Cabrillo.